Lock and load.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Welcome, everybody. It's your host, Coach Rick, on SWB Podcast Spring News Bulletin. Today we have with us again our other co-hosts, Yankee Joe and Mr. CEO. Today's podcast, we're going to talk about Yankees, Mets, and then we'll talk about another sport that's coming up next week. We'll get into that a little bit later. We're going to start off with the MLB. And Yankee Joe, can hit off with you. Start with you with Yankee news and the beginning of the season. Take it away.
All right. How's everybody doing?
Good.
How you doing?
Good. So, all right. So, yeah, there was some news out of Yankee camp to me. I'm not surprised that Luis Gil will not be one of our starters, but I am surprised that he will not break camp with the team. He has not looked pretty good in his last few starts. So, like I said, definitely not surprised that he's not a member of the rotation, but I figured for sure he would at least make the club because we have I believe actually, we're not going to need a fifth starter until April 11th. So our four starters going into the season are going to be in order: Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, Will Warren, who's had a very good spring, and then after that, Ryan Weathers, who's been a little shaky. He's been really just as shaky as Gil. So it was either one or the other. And I was thinking Gil was going to stay and maybe piggyback off of him for a while. So that's going to be interesting to see how they work at, and because you might see Boone, going to the bullpen kind of early, especially early in the season. Not every starter is built up. Fried is up to about 90 pitches, so he's good. Schlittler, he's only built up right now to about 60 pitches. Remember, he was a little slow to get on the mound when spring training first started for him. So his first start was the middle of March, so he's slightly behind there. He's not going to, like I said, he won't miss a turn in the rotation as long as he's healthy. Right. But he's not fully built up yet. And as far as the bullpen goes, there's three spots still up for grabs. It looks like Brett Hedrick is going to make it. But then other than that, it looks like Cade Wencast, he was a Rule 5 draft from the Cardinals. He's a right-handed pitcher. The Yankees actually liked him in 2022, but they didn't draft him right away. They figured he would be available in the later rounds, and then unfortunately the Cardinals took him. So this time, he was their first Rule 5 pick in 11 years. And if they were to decide they wanted to option him to the minors for any reason, they would first have to offer him back to the Cardinals, and so they don't want to do that because there's a chance that they'll lose him. So he'll most likely break camp. The other one is Osvaldo Bido. He's also a right-handed pitcher. He is impressed in camp too. So those are a few things to watch out for. And as we thought, Jason Dominguez was optioned on Friday to the minor leagues. It's just a numbers game, and he's tearing it up right now. He's having a great spring. He has 4 home runs. He's up there in batting average, and so he's playing really good. He's playing really good in the field, and it's a shame. But in the winter, they had no way of predicting that based off the season that he had last year. Spencer Jones, he was optioned about a week and a half ago. So it's a numbers game with both of them, and the only thing you hope is that they don't leave them down in the minors too long and risk hurting their careers, especially because there may not be baseball next year. So if both of them don't, Dominguez more than likely will play at some point this year, but Jones, you don't know. But let's say both of them don't. Let's say, and in a way that's a good thing for the Yankees. That means everybody's healthy. So let's just say that happens. Then there's no baseball next year, and if that's the case, you're going into 2028. Are we saying Spencer Jones is old at 25? Now he'll be 27, and Dominguez will be 25. So those are a few things to watch out for. Ben Rice, they say he's going to get some reps at catcher, but most of the time, or pretty much all the time, I would say that's just an emergency. He's our everyday first baseman with Paul Goldschmidt backing him up. The bench is going to be Randall Grichuk. He's an outfielder, so he'll be the backup in the outfield. Got J.C. Escarra catching. You got Eduardo Rosario. And then after that, you're going to have Paul Goldschmidt. So that's how the bench consists of, and we're just waiting for a few more decisions out of the bullpen. Luckily, they've had a very healthy spring, which is a surprise, a pleasant surprise. Cole actually pitched Wednesday. He pitched 1 inning through 10 pitches. He looked pretty good. He's going to pitch again either Monday or Tuesday. We have 2 games in Arizona where the Cubs have spring training. We're going to play them twice. He's going to pitch 2 innings. And then if all goes well with that, he may go out on a rehab assignment.
All right. So you think he's going to be back for you think maybe late May?
I'm going to stick to June 1st, but we'll see. He's still not going to rush. Definitely not going to rush, but I think June 1st is more possible. I think that's the better one for him. And Carlos Rodon, as long as we can manage without him until he comes back, you're looking at late April, early May for that. So if we can hold on with the starting pitching. Another good thing we have, not that it's ever a good thing to not see anybody injured, but Trey Savage for the Blue Jays just got injured with his elbow. They don't know shoulder, I'm sorry. They don't know how long he's going to be out. So they have a couple of gaps they need to fill. And Scherzer, he signed, he was going to be like a spot starter, maybe out of the bullpen. Now he's their 5th starter.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
All right, Mr. CEO, anything on the Mets?
Oh, yeah, we got a whole update. First, I want to say a shout out to all our subscribers out in Queens. Anthony and Carlos, how you doing, guys? Those two of my guys out here in New York, in Brooklyn, Jeff and Dominic. Shout out to them as well, long-time subscribers. Going over the Mets, what we're looking here is that a few things I want to point out. Lindor's trying to make it for opening day, but most likely he'll probably miss opening day, so that's going to give you an update. I'll tell you exactly what's going on position-wise, and he's trying as hard as to get back to getting there for opening day, but most likely we'll miss. That's going to put Bichette to shortstop. But the way everything's rounding up right now, without Lindor starting, maybe sitting out the first couple of games, you got Blanco at first base. You got Semien, Gold Glove second baseman. Again, Bichette, he's going back to short. He's played short his whole career. And Beatty's going to be going to third base. And in the outfield, you got Soto, Roberts, and Bench, which that great rookie made the squad. He looks really good. He had over 407 in spring training. And behind the plate, Alvarez is looking pretty good too in spring. The bench plays rounding off is Tyrone Taylor and Moran. And they're also looking at maybe Vientos. They're maybe looking to say there's a possibility rumor out there. They're looking to cut him, but I think they want to hold on to him just to get him to the season. See if there's any biters out there, anybody that maybe want to trade for him, because I know that if they release him, there'll be a lot of teams looking to take a shot with him. And on the injury front, we got AJ Minter, who missed all of last year, lefty specialist. Everybody should be familiar with him. Met Killer on the Braves. Should be familiar with him. He's going to be out probably another 2 to 4 weeks, so he should be rounding things off there. The bullpen looks pretty solid, but I'm going to start with the starters. We got the off-season signing with the trade that is. Peralta, ace, great starter, Milwaukee Brewers, coming over to the Mets. I think that as far as signing that long-term contract, they'll probably pushed into the season. But what a way to start off with him at the number 1 spot, the ace. The Mets are going with Peterson, a lefty, as the second starter. And McClain, let's see if hopefully he doesn't have a sophomore jinx and does some dominating like he did. He did pretty good as far as in the World Baseball Classic as well. You got Holmes. You guys should be very familiar with Holmes, the former Yankee.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of guys in this roster looks like a whole bunch of full Yankees. And they're going with 5-man rotation, so they're going to stick it out with Senga. The man that's out is Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea hasn't looked good in spring. His fastball's only topping 84, 85. He hits about 88, 89. And I think he's going to start the season as the manager announced that he'll be starting in the bullpen. As far as Mets closer and setup man, you guys are well familiar with these two guys, Williams and Weaver. Rounded up as closers, and the Weaver's going to be the setup guy. Lefty specialist, again, with Minter being maybe 2 to 4 weeks away, you're looking at Riley. Pretty good last year. He came off his DL. His ERA was like 220, 230. Did pretty well last year. The question mark I have is the other lefty specialist is Lovelady. He really didn't do so well in the spring. His ERA was about touching over 4. But I like the other acquisition the Mets made in the bullpen. He's a Swiss Army knife, as Rico would say, Coach Rick. He's a starter / bullpen. You guys might be familiar with him from the Milwaukee Brewers. He did pretty well down the stretch as far as the starter. His ERA was about 175, and as a bullpen guy, 235. So he's pretty good. I'm surprised he was in the trade with Boltra. When Mets got Boltra in that trade, he was part of the package. We also have, again, like I mentioned, Sean Nye is going to be the third lefty out of there, most likely long relief guy. And the sleeper I like is Barazvan. He's a really good, really solid, throws about 97, 99. Good heat, and I think that overall, the Mets are shutting things up. At the beginning of the year, we did look like, so I'd say at the beginning of the offseason, things didn't look too bright for the Mets. Didn't look too good. But rounding off, I think that once we get Lindor back, he goes back to short. Bichette slides back to third. Beatty will probably go to first base. Polanco and him will alternate on DHing. So that's my roundup and everything going on with the Mets. We open the season with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Coach Rick, what do you got going on?
Well, one thing I want to mention is congratulations, WBC just ended, and unfortunately, the U.S. lost to Venezuela, 3-2. Congratulations to all the Venezuelans out there. I know had a tough time with Maduro, but now they're all happy in the U.S. celebrating and having a championship. So good for them. The underdog won. Even though they do have a lot of major leaguers on their team, the roster is made up of major league ball players. But congratulations to Venezuela. They are the WBC champs of 2026. See you in 4 years with that. Getting away from baseball, we're going to mention then this week, the other sport that I initially started saying I was going to basically surprise people on is the UFL, the United Football League. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. I know back in the day, we used to watch spring football. Mr. CEO and I, when we were kids, we watched the New Jersey Generals and the USFL. I did in 2020 with the XFL. It was going pretty well until the pandemic hit. But this Friday, Fox will have Friday Night Football every week on Fox, 8 p.m. this Friday, March 27th. We have the Birmingham Stallions, the 3-time champions of Spring League, versus the inaugural new team, Louisville Kings. Now, I'll just educate our viewers and yourselves if you're not familiar with it. There's going to be 8 teams. Now, the 8 teams are 3 new ones. They got rid of 3 different franchises. And they added 3 new ones because Mike Rapoli, who's the CEO of Noble Sports and partners with Tom Brady with TB12, he's at the helm. He joined in, put some millions of dollars into the league. He's passionate. He's taking care of the marketing. He's done a great job. During the NFL season, I don't know if you've seen it, there were a few commercials on UFL. Like, this is the UFL. And it was a good marketing ploy. And now, I believe this week or last week, they're going to hand the fans involved right before the game, or I guess a Saturday before the games, but going to have fan interaction, and they're going to have some halftime shows the first week, inaugural week of the season. So this is the 3rd season of UFL, United Football League, which is a merger between the USFL and XFL a couple years ago. Now, people that don't know, Mike Rapoli joined Fox Sports, Red Bird Capital, The Rock, Danny Garcia. They're all owners of the league, so there's a lot of money invested. And with Mike Rapoli at the helm, he is going to, I think, is going to be a successful spring league finally, because every couple of years you have a spring league and then it fizzles out. So this Friday, March 27th on Fox, Friday Night Football, 8 p.m., Birmingham Stallions versus the Louisville Kings, which is a new team. Now, the coaches for these teams, they did a whole revamp. This guy, Mike Rapoli, took all the coaches, 7 out of 8, got rid of them, got some first-time head coaches involved for these teams. He's going to make it basically like a new league all over again. It's got a new feel to it, new uniforms. And the kicker is this. The optics were very bad for the UFL playing in NFL stadiums. He's got leases on soccer stadiums, MLS stadiums, which are capacities from 15,000 to 25,000, which is going to create great optics for the league. Because if you get 10,000, 12,000 fans, it's going to be half full and it's going to look really good on television. You already have the TV contracts and regional viewership going pretty well, from 600,000 to 1 million. So the optics now with the new stadiums are going to be looking good. There's 8 teams, so here are the teams that are going on. You have the 3-time champs Birmingham Stallions. You have last year's champion DC Defenders. You have St. Louis Battlehawks. Right now they play the American Dome. They have at least 35,000 every week. Pretty good. Then you have the Dallas Renegades, which is my team. Then you have the Houston Gamblers back in the day with Jim Kelly. And now we have the 3 new teams, the Columbus Aviators, the Orlando Storm, and then we have the Louisville Kings, like we just mentioned here. The uniforms are great. The team names are pretty good. I like a new, fresh feel about it. It's a do-over. We'll call it UFL 3.0 with Mike Rapoli. And this Friday on Fox 8 p.m., you got every week. There's music. I hear some music in the background. Anyway, so any of you guys questions on UFL, familiar with it? Have any questions about it?
I got a couple. Who would you say is the best team out there? And I would just say that's my question for now. Who's the best team out there, and who has a chance to knock off the defending champions?
Well, the best team out there will still be the defending champion DC Defenders, because they retain most of their roster. They've kept the same coaches. It's the only team that actually kept their coach. So everyone else has a brand new head coach and assistant coaches. It's pretty much like a round robin. So it's going to be really interesting this year, because you're going to have a lot of teams where you thought they could be a good team, but because of like the drafts and allocations to teams, it's going to be very competitive. We don't know what to expect. The only given is the DC Defenders with quarterback Jordan Tiamu, who actually won the championship last year, and they beat the Michigan Panthers, who are no longer in the league. But they may be back in 2028, because an MLS stadium for Detroit FC will be back in 2027. So once they get the lease on that, they're going to expand 2 teams in 2028. And I believe Michigan Panthers will be at least one of them. I'm hoping Jersey Generals will be the second one, because that was my team back in the days, but who knows? And so did Theo, he liked that too. But so we're going to go with DC Defenders repeating, because they have the heads up, they have the advantage on everyone. And everyone else is kind of a coin toss. I mean, you have AJ McCarron. He's the new coach of the Birmingham Stallions. They still have a lot of their players. So you got Matt Corral as their quarterback. I think he's like the second, or like 1A, 1 and 2A. We'll say 1A, 1B as far as Tiamu and Corral. So I think they're the second best team. So I could see DC Defenders against the Birmingham Stallions. Now, what Mike Rapoli did this year, he used to have an XFL division and USFL division. Now we're going to have just one division, like soccer has. 8 teams, the top 4 make the playoffs. So that's how that's going to work. Any other questions on NFL?
It sounds like it's a pretty fast-paced schedule and season.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned it's like a round robin. So to that end, doesn't sound like it would be like the NFL, where you would see teams tanking, like say halfway through the year if they think they're out of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Because the top 4 teams, it's not like you're playing for your division. You're really fighting for that spot, 1 through 4. Also, what they did in the past, the UFL's been pretty, we'll say, they've been changing rules as they go. This year, there are new rules in the league. It did have NFL-style rules last year. This year, they're going to go with just 1 foot in back to college, 1 foot in bounds for receivers. But they're also going to have the 1-point conversion kick back in. But they have a 2-point conversion and a 3-point conversion. The 2-point conversion will be at the 5-yard line. 3-point conversion is going to be at the 8-yard line. There's also 2 additional, like spring football has to be different from the NFL to be interesting. It's got to be different. So with Mike Rapoli and the rest of the staff and owners of the league, here are 2 new rules for spring football. If you pass the 50-yard line, even if you get a penalty, you get pushed back, you cannot punt the ball. You have to go for it on 4th down. Or kick a field goal. Here's where it comes into play. If you're on the 50-yard line, or say the 49-yard line of the opposing team, and you can't punt, if you go for a field goal right there, any field goal that is 60 yards plus be worth 4 points, not 3. So that gives you a little bit of a different take on it. So if you're losing by 3, you go for a field goal, you win the game. Also, there's another rule that people don't know about. The reason why I'm explaining this, so people get pretty much an idea of how different it is. If you're losing in the fourth quarter by, say, 2 scores, you go downfield, you score, and then you're only down by 1. Usually in NFL, you kick an onside kick. Not in the UFL. UFL, you have a choice. It's called 4th and 12. You go for it from your own 33-yard line, and you go for it. If you make the 4th and 12, you continue your drive, and you have a chance to come back. That gives the spring football a little bit more of an exciting pace to have the team come back. Because a lot of times you're watching the game, they're down by 2 scores, I'm going to shut the TV off. Not with the UFL. With the UFL, many chances. You're losing, you're coming from behind. 4th and 12, which is not an onside kick. You get it, you continue. So there is a chance of coming back. And even if you score again, you're down by 3, you can do it again, 4th and 12. So you can retain possession 3-4 times in a row. As long as you're making that 4th and 12, you continue possession. And again, with the new field goal rule, maybe in the future the NFL will take that into consideration, which they did take a few rules from, say, XFL and UFL with the line technology. That came from the USFL. It was called True Line. We have that little like tennis thing. We have the line there and see if the ball is over the line or not. The electronic eye, that came from the USFL. Anyway, with that said, those are all the new rules for the UFL this coming season. And you do have one other thing I mentioned, and I'll throw it back to you guys for any like last minute thoughts about baseball. But with the UFL, there's going to be a control center for referees. You got Mike Pereira. He'll be calling. He'll be looking at the screen. It could also happen where on the field he sees something that's not called right. He could take a timeout and look at it again, and then make the adjustment and have the right call. Which in NFL you never do that because of gambling and all that stuff. So they could change the call, and the coaches get a 1 red flag, basically challenge, which you can challenge any play, a holding play, an offsides play. If you catch it, you throw the flag, they overlook it. So, oh yeah, he did hold. I wish the NFL would have that rule, but that's also in the UFL guidelines and rules. I think it's very exciting. I love football. I'll watch every spring league there is, whether it be watching the CFL, UFL, ELF in Europe. There's a new league possibly coming out, COFL, which is Continental Football League back then in the 2000s or in the 1960s. I forgot which way it went. But anyway, there was a league like that where they're going to play 3 rules of NFL, 3 quarters, and then the 4th quarter to go to CFL rules. Let's see if that comes to fruition. That comes out this year in the summer. But that's all I have on the UFL. Watch it this Friday, March 27th, 8 p.m. on Fox. There'll be 2 games on Saturday and 1 game on Sunday. So every weekend, there'll be football, which I love. Now, getting back to baseball, do you guys have any last comments or last thoughts you didn't mention earlier about the Yankees or Mets? So, Yankee Joe, you have anything to add?
Well, with football being on Saturday, I guess I could watch that because the Yankees, their schedule is so... Actually, I take that back. They're off Thursday, so they do play Friday, so I'll be watching that. The Yankees schedule, though, it's strange. They play Wednesday in San Francisco. They're off Thursday. Play Friday and Saturday, and then they're off Sunday before going to Seattle. So the schedule is a little tricky this year. I got a buddy of mine who's a Met fan who lives in Florida, and he wants to come up in June, and we were talking about maybe going to the Met-Philly game on Friday night because Saturday I really want to go because it's Aaron Judge bobblehead day, and you know that game's going to be like a madhouse. That's also Father's Day weekend, and we're looking at the schedule, and the Mets are off that Friday. So why do teams have off Friday? I don't understand that. Friday's a popular night. I mean, you work long and hard all week. Friday night, you want to sit down, you want to have a beer, you want to watch the game, or you want to go to the game. So that's a little disheartening, I would think. But other than that, I didn't mention Oswaldo Cabrera. He's a really good player. He's not as like hyped up as Volpe, even though Volpe has his problems. But he's not like a star star like Judge or a projected star like Dominguez
I like him.
or Ben Rice, but he's a fan favorite because he came through the minors. He's very personable. He always says hi to the fans. He'll always turn around. You say hi to him. If he's got a baseball in his hands, he'll throw it to you. He's a really great kid. He's been sent down once before, so I believe this is his second option.
Right.
And one of the reasons is because of his ankle, but another one, just a numbers crunch too. With the roster, the way that it's set up, as I've mentioned before, what I'm not crazy about, which I didn't mention before, until Volpe comes back, Jose Caballero is the starting shortstop, which I'm fine with. I mentioned before he had 45 steals last year. He led the majors in it, so I'm perfectly comfortable with him at short. However, when Volpe comes back, Caballero goes to the bench, and someone's gonna have to go. So you wonder who that's gonna be. You wonder if Cabrera's gonna be with the team at any point this year. You would hope so, but we just don't know at this point.
Right. I do hope so. I mean, that's a great point you made. I like Cabrera better than Volpe, to be honest with you. As well, Volpe did have those few moments, sparks and stuff, but I think that ship has sailed, and I think you're right, but they should keep Cabrera. That's my
I would say by the end of this year. Now, he might not lose his job right away this year, Volpe. If he's struggling, it might be little by little he gets phased out. I don't see him not being a Yankee this year, but after this year, definitely I could see them cutting ties in a trade. I could see them listening to offers for a trade if he doesn't play better. I think this year is make or break for him. Absolutely, for him.
Okay. All right, Mr. CEO, what do you got on the Mets? Anything else?
One last thing I want to touch on, and I missed on. It was disappointing to me as a Met fan. I would like to see what he had left in the tank. It was Kimball. The Mets announced that he's not going to make this squad. He's topping out only at 91, 92. He's effective when he's 94, 95. He is, getting up there in age. He didn't do that bad at the end of the year, last year for the Orioles, but that was my only disappointment going into the season, is that the Mets took Lovelady over Kimball. I would have maybe went with the veteran, proven closer in the past, but he was going to maybe get middle relief innings as far as that goes. So that's pretty much all I have to say as far as that's the only thing I didn't touch upon. And one last thing, Sal over in Staten Island, he just texted me. He wanted to say he's watching this now, so give him a shout out. That's all. But
yeah, we got a lot of friends there, subscribers there.
It's good.
That's good.
I got a question on Kimball, going back to that for a second. I read where he has, I think, 7 to 10 days to accept an assignment. So is he DFA'd?
Well, according to the Mets, it wasn't. They didn't say as far as they let him know he wasn't making the team. He wasn't making the open day roster. So you're right. He has that little window, but it wasn't like he had these little minor league / major league deals where there's an opt-out date. So there's a chance maybe they can convince him to stay a little bit longer, maybe work a little longer. But I think he's going to move on. I think he'll probably move on, maybe catch on another team, because the Mets, pretty much the bullpen's pretty stacked up as far as you got guys like A.J. Minter coming back. So I don't think that he's going to accept the assignment. That's just my opinion.
And you always see injuries in the first month, unfortunately. Yeah. And I understand the Mets' point. They're like, Kimbrel's point, where don't accept it. Just, let me sign as a free agent somewhere, because otherwise, whatever he was getting with the Mets, that's whatever he signed for. That's what he'll get in a trade.
Exactly.
But teams don't want to trade for him. They'll sign him because money is money, but they don't want to. And that's with any player.
There'll probably be a couple of teams out there, maybe like the Tigers, White Sox, maybe give him a shot as far as see what he's got left in the tank. But I think he's not going to accept his assignment for the Mets. I think that, they should have kept him. I would have personally felt better keeping him. I was disappointed when they said that he wasn't going to make the open day roster, and they took Lovelady, who, again, he's a lefty. Maybe they're looking for when A.J. Minter came back, but I just think that Lovelady, they cut him twice already last year, so I don't know what the thing is bringing him back. It wasn't like he was lights out in spring training. He had like a 4-something ERA in spring training, so maybe just because of the lefty thing. But I would have kept Kimball, but on that note, that's all I have to say about the Mets.
Mentioning the Tigers, you said maybe he'd be a good fit there. Watch out for the Tigers. their starting rotation, if everybody's clicking on all cylinders in a short series, I don't care if it's the wild card round, the division series, or when it's the 4 out of 7, you're going to have Skubal, Valdez, and then you're going to have Flaherty, and then Verlander as your number 4. I mean, that's a sick rotation.
Yeah, it is.
That's a sick. I'd love to see them match up against the Yankees when we have Cole and Rodon back. Because then we'll have Cole, Rodon, Fried, and Schlittler. I know it's early, but if everything goes well, fingers crossed, can you imagine?
You're right.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a 4 out of 7 series with those 4 matching up?
Yeah, that would be.
That would be a good matchup.
I tell you, I think that. I know I'm a Met fan. You think I'm going to go the other way? Which I will. The Tigers have stability opposed to the Yankees. You're hoping that Rendon comes back. You hope that Cole comes back to what they once were, or even 3/4 of what they were. Then you're talking about they're both healthy. I agree with you. Even that, anti-Yankee, But I agree with you on that. I think the Yankees do have a shot. If those guys are healthy, you can match them up pretty well with the Tigers.
And I've said before, good pitching will always be good hitting. And I was hoping Team USA would beat the DR. I was thinking it was going to be like a 6-5 game or something like that. I thought there'd be a little bit of really good pitching mixed in with good offense. But that was just total domination, really, by both sides. Yeah. And then the same thing with USA and Venezuela. USA struck out 15 times in that game.
That was good pitching.
Well,
listen, they deserve it. They did.
Yeah.
But what kills me is that, did you see how they scored 2 of their runs, Venezuela? They had, I think it was a walk, a stolen base, a wild pitch, sacrifice fly, and then in the 9th inning, the walk. That's all. I said at the beginning of the inning to my wife, walks will always kill you.
Yeah,
you know what?
Yeah.
It just does. Unfortunately, it does. I mean, the Yankees did that in Game 5 of the World Series in the 8th inning.
Anytime you give them a gift like a wild pitch, like you said, a walk and a wild pitch, there's 2 gifts right there. But you got to give it to Venezuela. They played the gritty team. They just kept going at it. So they forced the U.S. into mistakes.
They did.
No one expected them to beat it. Not even the semifinals. No one expected them.
They thought DR would be there, not Venezuela. But look what happened.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was going to be DR and.
I was hoping Italy
originally.
I was like the Espresso Italia. I thought like Italy was looking so good. They beat the U.S. That was.
Are you sure it was espresso in those cups and not wine?
No. If it was maybe the last game against Venezuela, it was wine in there.
Right.
But here you go. I think Yankee Joe hit the nail on the head. Wine was swapped out for espresso, coffee grains, and that's why Italy lost. But you guys are right. I like the points you both made for both teams. Let's see this year if the Yankees in rotation can. I guess we'll talk about it in June, where they're at, because you got Cole and you got Rendon, which Rendon is a funny guy because he gets in trouble with the walk, like you mentioned, walks. 1 or 2 walks, he's rattled, and then you're like, what's going to happen now? I'm always thinking worse. I'm sorry to be a pessimist.
Yeah, me too.
But Rendon, if he doesn't pitch well, once he starts throwing base on balls, he has no more balls. He's done. He loses balls, So that's that. With the Mets, with the injuries, the Mets could be they're a scruffy team, so they were scruffy last year, but we'll see what happens this year. Maybe Cohen brings out the wallet, brings out the safe, gets a few more players in trade deadline. And then in June, the trade deadline, the Mets become a different team after June, and the month of July.
Yeah.
We'll see, but other than that, UFL on Fox, March 27th, 8 p.m. Friday Night Football's back, baby. Spring football's back. You guys should take a look at it. We'll be watching it. Lynn Family Stadium, 15,000 capacity. It's going to be packed stadium. Louisville is going to definitely support their team playing against Birmingham Stallions. It's going to be a great game. Let's see what happens. Like and subscribe, SMB Podcast, Spring News Bulletin. Also check out the CEO's new channel. It's called The CEO of Sports. He's going to start making his own individual channel. We'll probably be guests on it. He'll have some other people on there. Maybe just invite Yankee Joe and won't invite me. Who knows? But take a look at the CEO of Sports. Check out his channel. Like and subscribe there as well. Yankee Joe. I have a feeling Yankee Joe's going to have his own channel as well. He's just getting started. He's got his new computer. He's got his headset. Joe is on the money. He's going to be the Yankee. I don't know what you want to call it, but maybe you call him the pinstripe professor. That's what I'm going to call him. There you go. So like and subscribe. It's been another edition of SMB Podcast Spring News Bulletin.
Yep.
Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. To all subscribbers,
Thanks.
Yankee Joe, thank you. Mr. CEO, thanks you. I thank you. Coach Rick, God bless. Be well.
See you guys next week.
Have a good night.
Ciao.